had that slight edge. You know, he was a little bit sharper. He had the timing on those takedowns, but you know, I'm sure Parker's going to go away, work on all this, and going to be twice the fighter next time, you know?
Definitely a lot of lessons for Callum Parker to learn, and cannot wait to see him back here at Urijah Faber's A1 Combat.
Yeah, and this is just a testament to the matchmaking at A1, you know? Like, both guys, great heart, no quitting them, you know, and it was an exciting back and forth fight, like you say, displaying all areas. You know, both guys had all weapons on display here tonight: elbows, knees, grappling, striking. You know, and I was very impressed with them here tonight. I think it was a very exciting fight to kick off the card.
And like you're saying, this is just the first fight of 9. There's a lot of action still to come here at the Commerce Casino in Los Angeles, California. You can take a look at that venue. Excellent stage that we have. I'm a big fan of the production design that we've got going on, but I'm an even bigger fan of this next fight of the night between Christian Cross and Cole Laren. Cole Laren, really interesting individual to talk with. Kind of felt like he knew something that we didn't, Corey. We sent it inside to veteran announcer Garrett Fertig to bring our next 2 combatants inside the octagon.
And now making his way, Chris Cross.
The cornerback in college football turned mixed martial artist representing Wahiawa, Hawaii. It is Chris Cross, 32 years young. He is finally looking to get a win in the professional ranks following a unanimous decision setback to Josh Nakagawa at CCW in September of 2019. Corey, the last time we saw Chris Cross was over 1,400 days ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for this. You know, he's 2-3 as an amateur, but those 2 wins were first-round knockouts. So this guy has some serious power behind him. So, you know, he has predicted a war here tonight. His background's in boxing, so I think we're going to look at, you know, seeing some exciting shots here from Chris Cross.
I asked him, you know, what's changed since September of 2019? It's a long time to be away from the cage, and he said, I've just gotten wiser. I've just added some more years under the belt, had some big life changes, moved back to Hawaii to take care of his 79-year-old father, and spent some time with his dog named Dallas, like the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I do find it interesting that his go-to move is his double leg. However, he is not a fan of grappling, and he's expecting a war here tonight with 2 knockout finishes. So, you know, I'm not too sure what to expect here.
Whether he loves it or not, he certainly has all the tools needed to make a big impression in the Urijah Faber octagon here tonight. He is Chris Cross in the Commerce Casino.
And now, please welcome Cole Laren.
Born in the United States, bred in Huntington Beach, California, you can already hear the reception here at the Commerce Casino for Cole Laren. 28 years young. Last fight was a unanimous decision setback in his pro debut to James Sauce Marley Gidry in February of this year. He said that when he was younger, he watched Vladimir Klitschko get a knockout win, and that's just where it all fell in love for combat sports, Corey.
Yeah, you know, I'm very excited for this one. Like I say, 2 very impressive guys. Cole is a BJJ purple belt, so perhaps with the grappling advantage coming in here, fighting a striker. However, when you spoke to him, I know he did say he effing loves knocking people out. So, you know, maybe we are in for a war here tonight. I'm very excited. Both guys seem to have that war mentality, and they are ready for anything coming in here tonight. But Cole says he is aware that his opponent is a pressure-focused, boxing-orientated fighter, and he has the perfect game plan to neutralize that, apparently. So I'm very excited to see what him and his team have come up with here tonight as we head on into our second war of the evening.
Here he is, Cole Laren. The crowd loves him. We'll see if that leads to a win here tonight. We send it inside. Our tale of the tape, Cole Laren, 28 years young, Chris Cross, 4 years older. Each man is 0-1. Cross weighed in at 155.2. Cole Laren at 155.8. 1 inch goes to Chris Cross, and the height basically virtually even on all fronts for this lightweight affair. We send it inside to Garrett Fertig to get this fight underway.
From Los Angeles, California, A1 Combat continues our prelims, scheduled now for 3 5-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, the Ayala Morgan Buzzard Personal Injury Attorneys blue corner. Standing 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing 155.2 pounds. Early in his professional career, his record stands at 0-1, representing Hawaii Elite MMA, Hold'em High, and Hit Squad. He fights out of Wahiawa, Hawaii. Please welcome Chris Cross. And now introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the Ayala Morgan Buzzard Personal Injury Attorney red corner. At 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing 155.8 pounds, making his A1 combat debut, 0-1 as a professional, representing Lineage Muay Thai and OCRCC. He fights out of Huntington Beach, California, Cole Laren. Your referee, Jonathan Romero.
John Romero getting the second assignment of the night here at 155. Have the feeling that the judges will likely not be needed between Cole Laren and Christian Cross. Cole Laren, a guy that's had a tough couple of years as well, lost his sister Crystal not too long ago, 2 shoulder surgeries, and was homeless for a year and a half. He has been through the valleys of life struggles. We'll see if he can find a peak here tonight in the Commerce Casino.
Beautiful job here from, both guys are filling each other out, but I do like the footwork already of Laren. We're looking at southpaw orthodox. He's playing the parameter. He's kind of like feeling it out a little bit, whereas from Cross we're looking at like a bit more of a pressure fighter, which I mean is exactly what he predicted coming in here tonight.
Each guy heavy with the hands, definitely prefer the striking. That Muay Thai base of Cole Laren, pretty interesting to think about. He cited that the elbows are going to be a big tool for him tonight.
Laren needs to be careful circling that way. He's circling into the power hand of Cross. We are looking at
circled right in that low blow as well.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not the most considerate when it comes to that stuff. Not really an issue that I've had to deal with. I'm usually on the giving end of those in practice. But straight back to the action here from the guys, so.
Cole Laren not too affected by that shot downstairs. Ooh. Big connection, though, by Chris Cross.
As I was saying, Laren needs to be careful circling to his left. He's circling into the power side of Cross, and as we have discussed, he has some big power there. I'd like to see him start working on beating that foot fight, the stereotypical southpaw orthodox, but some powerful shot exchanges here from both guys already.
Solid resume of opponents for Cole Laren as well. Fought Brian Zurcher at Tough Enough in July of 2018. Zurcher now inside the PFL, doing a lot of good things, so not a bad guy to lose to, I would say.
Both guys landing those leg kicks, Laren's mixing up with those teeps up the middle too, which I really like. And both guys are landing those kicks. I don't think we're looking at any, beautiful elbow there. Neither guy's really checking or anything, so I definitely think we're in for a... Jeez.
Another thundering shot downstairs. Chris Cross heavy on that lead leg. You can already see the bruising. Laren goes high, trying to mix up the levels, Corey.
Yeah, I mean, Laren's kicks are a landing hit tonight. He's having a lot of success. That elbow was beautiful. Sorry, every time I go to finish a point, I'm getting distracted by these guys. They're landing some heavy blows, and we're only 2 minutes into this first round. This is for sure going to be one of the most exciting fights.
Again, these lightweights recognize they're not paid by the minute. 2:50 left in round number 1. Cross still heavily in the center. Feels like that right hand just keeps connecting more and more as this round progresses.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, Laren's having a lot of success with those kicks. We got the right hand from Cross. I think that's due to Laren circling, as I mentioned, I don't want to say the wrong way, but the less suggested way. But no, both guys are having a lot of success here. I'd like to see them start checking those leg kicks because I can already see the bruising on Cross here, and I just can only imagine how that's going to feel in the morning.
Tripling up on the leg kicks right there from Laren. Finally taking the center, putting the pressure on Chris Cross. Cross jabs to the body, blinking out something upstairs.
Stance switch here now from Laren. We were looking at the southpaw, but he switched over to orthodox. I wonder if that's due to one of those leg kicks that he ate, or if he's just...
Oh,
beautiful.
Cole Laren might be hurt. Chris Cross connected with a beautiful right hand up to the temple, but seems like the equilibrium is back on Cole Laren's side.
Cross is doing a great job of following up when he lands. I feel like Laren's very much like one kick move, one kick move. I'd like to see him follow up a little bit with his offense, you know, maybe put some hands behind it or even set up the kicks. But no, both guys are having success in their own area, which is very interesting, you know.
1 minute.
Beautiful level change there from Cross, sorry.
Oh, good connection by Chris Cross. Cole Laren could use maybe a little bit of head movement, Corey.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I feel like he's starting to kind of stand in place a little bit. Early in the round, we saw him moving and trying to like kind of judge his distance and feel him out a little bit. Now I feel like we're looking at very Muay Thai kind of, he's moving very Muay Thai style, you know. We're looking at like not much head movement, heavy kicks, which sometimes does work against a boxer, you know. It's two very conflicting striking styles.
Taking pictures in the pocket, not the most advised strategy. I get it, it's California, it's beautiful, but you gotta move.
Yeah, sorry, I'm like getting very distracted right here. That was a beautiful elbow. Ooh, beautiful follow. I think Laren would have a lot more success if we saw more exchanges like that. You see how he followed the kick up from his punching combos? He's already sliced open Cross there on the right side eyebrow. I'm not sure if that was from the elbow or one of the punch connections, but you know, he's having a lot of success when he throws more than one shot. So I think if we see one of those big kicks and then he follows it up with a second phase, I think he's gonna have a lot of success here right now.
Beautiful leg kicks. Final 20 seconds of round number 1. Cole Laren coming alive right in the fading moments. Feels like whoever's going first is winning the exchanges. It's if you're going second, you're losing in this one.
Yeah, and Cross is very heavy on that leg. Those leg kicks are adding up. You know, we can already see the purple of that leg. And those are starting to add up. They're going to start wearing down on not only the footwork, but also the power of Cross. A lot of people don't realize that your punching power does come from your legs. So kicking those legs and taking those legs out from under him is a very smart strategy from Laren, which I'm guessing is the game plan that he spoke of coming in here, because that seems to be something that he is pressing very hard right now. And he's having a lot of success with that. So I think Chris Cross's corner might need to tell him to start checking those.
Here's a couple replays from round number 1, Cole Laren and Chris Cross. Laren's elbows, he said it was going to be a problem, and it is certainly proving to be one. But Chris Cross, as durable as he could possibly be.
Yeah, I love when Laren puts those combinations together. You know, he has a very, like, I think we are looking at boxing versus Muay Thai style here. I love the way he's mixing those elbows in there. I am a huge fan of elbows. And I just think it's a beautiful display of striking from both guys here. I will be curious to see if one of the guys is going to engage in maybe some grappling here. I know neither guy really anticipated it. But, you know, sometimes when you put two grapplers together, we have a striking fight. When you put two strikers together, we get a grappling fight. Because, you know, sometimes it's what you least expect is what brings you to success. And I think that leg kick, that leg of Chris Cross is going to start really wearing on him. So I think if we're looking at Laren taking the edge with the striking, I'd like to see Cross start shooting a little bit.
And right as you mentioned it, 2 more leg kicks right there. Cole Laren, Chris Cross doesn't like that.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see that double leg start coming into play that he spoke of. Laren seems very composed in here. I think his confidence is only building. Like he just ate that leg kick and gave him a smirk, you know? So I feel like Laren's a lot more composed in here, and I think that leg kick is starting to add up for Cross. He's kind of very heavy and plodding on that foot now, which is not the style that we were looking at when he first came out in that round.
The deep waters of Cole Laren, not a place that you want to be. Beautiful step in elbow. Hawaii's Chris Cross again.
Oh.
1,400 days on the sidelines, maybe a bit of ring rust presenting themselves.
Yeah, I think it's, like I say, there's a lot of things going on. Like, Laren's confidence is definitely building. Like, he just threw a spinning heel kick. You know, you could just see the confidence exuding from him. Whereas Cross is seeming very hesitant now. He's very heavy on that leg. I think we need a strategy change here from Chris Cross. I think he's going to have to start engaging that grappling because he's about to lose that leg.
Chris Cross on one wheel. Cole Laren getting to work. 3:45 left in round number 2. Oh! Cole Laren putting the finishing touches on Christopher Cross. John Romero has seen enough. Cole Laren, welcome to Urijah Faber's A1 Combat.
Beautiful display of striking there from Laren. That was perfect. Very impressed with him today. You know, staying very composed. He picked him apart. He took away that leg, which completely negated all of his power in boxing. And then he just picked him apart, you know, and you just saw that confidence growing throughout the round. A beautiful display of striking here tonight.
Some cerebral incisions with the elbows to crash through Christian Cross. What a win for Cole Laren as he notches his first professional victory. Corey McKenna, take me through that finish.
Boom, that's straight right down the middle from the split stance. You know, and he didn't waste a second to jump on him, you know. Chris crumbled, and, you know, he saw his opening, and he just smelled blood, and he went for it. But that was a beautiful job. Like I said, I've said it already, but I'm very impressed with him for staying composed. I love the way he just took his legs out from under him and then waited for his opportunity. You know, he didn't force it. He found the perfect opportunity to just split through the middle of that guard. And, you know, it's early night for him here tonight.
He said he effing loved knocking people out. Boy, did he really prove that. A guy who's had the trials and tribulations like Cole Laren has. Excellent to see him get a victory here.
Yeah, definitely.
Have his hand raised.
He mentioned, like you say, being homeless for a year and a half, having a lot of injuries. And he did mention that he's been, prioritizing a lot of, like, recovery and everything like that. And I think that's really played into this fight. You know, he looked like a very well-rounded and well put together athlete in there tonight. You know, we didn't see much fatigue. We didn't see any of that nervous, jitteriness. He seemed very composed and very well prepared, and I really do think that's a testament to the game plan that he spoke of coming into here. He did a phenomenal job, and I'm very impressed. But also, I mean, Chris Cross had a lot of success too, not to take away from him, but
it's just those leg kicks. You have to figure out turning the knee, checking it, or evading it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, you can afford to take a couple of those, but once we started seeing that swell and that purpleness, and his foot went from, balls of the toes to flat to, heavy leaning over it, and, you just slowly saw the decline of that leg, and I think that really is what played dividends here tonight.
Not the return that Chris Cross wanted, but hopefully some more activity moving forward, because there are a lot of good moments that he had in that fight and academic things to take away. We send it inside to Garrett Fertig. I'll give it a minute. Good respect shown by both athletes. We send it inside to Garrett Fertig to make that finish official.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee, Jonathan Romero, waves off the contest at 1 minute, 21 seconds of round number 2. Declaring a winner by TKO, Mr. Violence, Cole Laren.
Mr. Violence gets it done in the only way that he wanted, a TKO finish in round number 2. I think Garrett might have dubbed him with a new nickname right there, Corey.
I actually didn't quite catch that. What did he say?
Mr. Violence.
I mean, it suits. That was, like you say, a phenomenal performance there. Beautiful striking. I absolutely love the way he, set up his combos. He used all of his weapons in there. And, it was, like I said, it was a beautiful display of Muay Thai. Very impressed with him here tonight, and I don't think we could have asked for a better way to kick off this A1 card here at the Commerce in LA.
And some great durability. Chris Cross caught him with a number of good shots and combinations, but Cole Laren never seemed unfazed by it, just kept marching through to find that finish. The hometown crowd loves it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I say, we just saw his confidence build in there, and, I'd like to say true testament to his team that he went in there with a perfect game plan. He stuck to it. He stayed composed, and yeah, I mean, not the most experienced, but a brilliant performance beyond his experience.
Cole Laren's pro debut was February of this year, now in the win column. Maybe he'll slide one more fight in before the end of 2023. We don't know.
I mean, yeah, he's walking out here pretty unfazed, pretty undamaged, but yeah, I mean, maybe he can. And hats off to Chris Cross, I mean, not the comeback he anticipated, and definitely not a record that reflects his capabilities now. He's fighting tough guys, and I think he'll be back twice as strong. He had a lot of success in there, brilliant boxing, and I just think there's a lot of stuff to work on for him, but it was Laren's night tonight, and he looked phenomenal.
Absolutely. We're going to take you to a quick promo for the next Urijah Faber A1 combat event.
as it gets, and it's mind-blowing.
I love everything about that fight.
These are the moments that the fighters live for.
I can't wait! Oh! Kicked him in the face!
Frog Rose!
We will all witness a piece of UFC history.
Unbelievable! You're sitting at home watching this, and you just go, holy shit. The double tap does what he wants!
Master, teach me Kung Fu.
One of the most epic fights.
There's nothing I do better in this life than fighting.
Unbroken, baby. This team is unbroken.
We have a sport with some of the best athletes in the world.
Boom!
One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see!
Oh!
The UFC has never been stronger.
It does not get any better.
That is good.
This is a crazy sport, ladies and gentlemen.
Fight fans, welcome back to Urijah Faber's A1 Combat 14. We are ahead of our featured prelim of the night between Extreme Couture's Chris Ruffin and Millennia MMA's Patrick Becker. Corey McKenna, two great fights so far. We send it inside to Garrett Fertig to get our last prelim into the octagon.
And now, set to make his way, Chris Ruffin.
Here comes the Senator Chris Ruffin, 28 years young, born in Atlanta, Georgia, but fighting out of Las Vegas. A lot of experience that he's had in a lot of different places, wrestling at CBU in Riverside, now sharpening the tools with guys like Chris Curtis, Jordan Levitt, and Dennis Davis over at Extreme Couture. He is the 15th professional welterweight in Arizona, former rough middleweight and light heavyweight champion. That's some good hardware to have ahead of his Urijah Faber A1 Combat debut, Corey.
Yeah, very interesting guy coming out here tonight. You know, he's coming off of a loss. But you know, it doesn't seem to deter him much. What I do like is he describes himself as a steroid-free John Jones. So I think that says all that we need to know coming in here tonight.
He's got two cats, Shuri and Chala, like the Black Panther. He said he didn't hit puberty until 20. Talking about Svetmir Todorov, a guy that didn't have a lot to say. Chris Ruffin had a lot of things to say and a very fun personality, super amicable guy to be around. And again, yeah, the John Jones inspiration. He said Khalil Roundtree Jr., Deontay Wilder, and Rumble Johnson were other inspirations he's had. A lot of heavy hitters in that lineup.
We welcome his opponent, Patrick Becker. A1 Combat would like to remind everyone to log on to UFC Fight Pass at 7 p.m. to continue watching our main card featuring our main event, Alejandro Sanchez versus Eddie Hope for the A1 Combat Lightweight Championship. A1 Combat now concludes our prelim set for 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing first, the Ayala Morgan Buzzard Personal Injury Attorneys, blue corner. At 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing 170.2 pounds, making his A1 Combat debut with a professional record of 1 win, 2 losses. His win coming by second round knockout, representing Extreme Couture from Atlanta, Georgia, by way of Las Vegas, Nevada, Chris, the Senator Ruffin. And now introducing his opponent, fighting across the cage in the Ayala Morgan Buzzard Personal Injury red corner. 75 feet 11 inches tall, he weighed in at 173.9 pounds. Returning to A1 after a brutal second round finish in his A1 Combat debut, his record stands at 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. Representing Millennia MMA, he fights out of Riverside, California, Patrick the Kurgan Becker. Your referee, Herb Dean.
Herb Dean getting in our featured prelim. Pat Becker giving the pectorals a little bit of a show in that introduction. He seems fired up, Corey.
Yeah, one thing that interests me with Becker is he says that it all started with a fight in WEC, and 10 years later he is still looking for that perfect fight, which that's a hard ask in MMA. I don't think there's such thing as a perfect fight. There's way too many factors that can go wrong, so I think he might be fighting for a very long time. But, you know, Urijah Faber sat in close proximity to us. He's going to join us later for the main card, and that's one guy that knows about fighting until you're 60.
The Senator Chris Ruffin brought down to the canvas. He has been submitted twice. His pro losses all by submission. Pat Becker clearly doing his homework. 30 seconds in, not a great spot, Corey.
Yeah, straight on the back, no hanging around, which kind of surprised me given the you know, Ruffin's collegiate wrestling background and you know, the fact that he has had a lot of success with that. But Becker looking very strong here, especially given, like you say, the lack of preparation. But being a firefighter and having to be doing like such a manual job, I'm sure he's physically ready all year round.
Arm triangle potentially. Becker.
I feel like he's a little bit too high, but it's hard to see from this angle.
How can Chris Ruffin get out of this one and switch the momentum?
Yeah, he needs to work on getting that elbow back down. It's a very precarious position here, being against the cage. He needs to get side on. It's not very, like, it's not useful having your head on the cage because that allows Becker to kind of block him off a little bit. He needs to start working on getting that left elbow back, go side on the cage, start hip escaping back to the cage, but he is mounted here too, so he's going to have to start working on clearing one of those legs, which he has done, but he's off on the side of the arm triangle. I think that might be in.
The wildland firefighter Pat Becker has never notched a professional victory by way of submission. Can he find it here in the first round?
He's good. He gave the thumbs up. I think Becker's just a little bit too high on that arm triangle. You know, you have to be down low, like your head towards the shoulder. A lot of times people ride a little bit high on the tricep, and it becomes a little bit more cranky, which in MMA, no one's really going to tap to that because, you know, there's a lot of pride on the line here. Great job from Ruffin to stay calm and composed in here. Becker's relentless with that, you know. I think we're looking, he cinched it back in. This is a lot deeper this time.
Chris.
Ruffin's not really doing much to defend here. I feel like he's kind of almost banking on Becker giving up on the position, which isn't the best strategy to take. He's going to give up his back here, which is a perfect shot turning in.
Reversal for the Senator. He said that his game plan was hit Pat Becker until something happens, but here he is working on a front headlock, Corey.
Yeah, great job from Ruffin there to explode up. You know, sometimes you have to risk being in a slightly worse position. I mean, I would rather sit on my back rather than mount. So I think that was kind of like an educated risk there to give up his back and use that to scramble up and try to reverse position, which he did. And now we're back on the feet where he wanted to be.
2 minutes and 15 seconds remains in round number 1. This fight is brought to you by Tight Shirt Construction.
We have
Make sure you go check him out. Ruffin.
Sorry, there is a cut across the nose of Becker there. I didn't quite see where that came from. Did you see?
I did not. Likely some grappling transition deep in. He likes to stay close, Pat Becker does. Feels like the game plan is definitely grapple, and grapple some more, Corey.
Yeah, definitely. Ruffin kind of hanging around on the neck there. I don't feel like he really has the choke set up. Becker's doing a good job of keeping his head tight. And he's straight back in that back position there. Ruffin needs to be very careful here. And kind of, I think he needs to, when he gets back up, if he gets back up, he's going to have to look for holding that center there because he's just getting taken down against the cage. And I hate to say easily, but, you know, Becker is making it look like it's with ease.
Body triangle in for Becker, just under 90 seconds remains. Chris Ruffin did say that he moved to Extreme Couture since his last fight, trying to shore up some of those weaknesses and improve the grappling, and few better guys than the crew at Extreme Couture. Great stable up there, but still kind of a grappling deficit in round number 1.
Yeah, definitely a great camp to be trained out. Oh, beautiful job to turn in there. That was great. Good job here starting to pass that leg. Becker's doing a good job of staying active. Great job swimming that underhook. Beautiful technique here from both guys, you know, and a lot of times we don't see that from these bigger guys. This is a perfect exchange here.
And a grueling pace set. I mean, the exhaustion that Ruffin and Becker must be experiencing after 5 minutes of just hard rolling, Corey.
Yeah, Ruffin needs to be careful here fishing under that leg, you know, especially against the cage, because Becker's kind of got a little bit more to post on control, and at the end of the day, Ruffin's just tying up an arm, which is going to allow Becker to hit him. Good job starting trying to come out under the back door. I'm very impressed with Ruffin here for not settling and for constantly trying to engage in a scramble. He's looking to set up an omoplata here. Becker is totally aware and starts to cross over the body. Honestly, this is a great grappling exchange from both guys. Both guys are doing everything right. I'm very impressed here.
Beautiful transitions, a grappler's delight. Final 10 seconds. The Senator with a couple knees upstairs. Pat Becker doesn't like that.
No, I don't like to see him backing up here. He's keeping his head down and backing up. If anything, he needs to get his hips under him and start trying to get his head up. Pulling out of a position where you're getting kneed, that's a recipe for disaster. You know, you're just going to get kneed even more. I think that's definitely Becker's round. I don't think anybody's going to argue that with me. Do you have any opinions?
No, I agree with you on that one. Pat Becker, 10-9 in my opinion. But, you know, it was a close round. There was a lot of transitions back and forth. And while those submission attempts were applied by Pat Becker, sometimes you never know. That's a round where I'm glad that we're commentating and not judging. We take it to a quick replay of round number 1. Corey, kind of break it down.
Yeah, I mean, Becker had beautiful timing on those takedowns. I was very impressed with Ruffin towards the end. You know, he did a great job of scrambling up, staying on top, and like kind of switching positions. And I feel like he had a lot more success towards the end of that round. So maybe, you know, he's warming up into this fight. And I feel like this is a very competitive grappling match between two high-level guys. I'm enjoying this. You know, I'm a huge grappling fan. I love seeing these exchanges from the guys. And there's a lot of technique on display here for tonight for everybody.
Pat Becker giving a smirk across the cage to Chris Ruffin, the Senator, seemingly happy as well. Herb Dean gets us going for round number 2 at 170 pounds. Pat Becker with a little bounce in the step. Headshot upstairs, partially blocked. The Senator taking the center.
Yeah, I like to see Ruffin taking the center here. I think that's going to help him a little bit with the wrestling offense of Becker. Becker is looking a little fatigued. I mean, those grappling exchanges take a lot out of you. And Ruffin doesn't look too demoralized from that first round. Ooh, beautiful body shot. Oh.
Pat Becker taking a couple shots right there, trying to find the hips. Ruffin wise to it.
Yeah, great job stuffing the takedown there, but he allowed Becker to get in on that body lock, which is, you know, not a good control from here. But he's doing a good job negating it. I'd like to see him swimming those underhooks. You know, he's fighting the head battle, which is, you know, the first step. But he needs to start working on getting an underhook here and breaking that grip of Becker, because Becker is strong in this position, you know. But no, beautiful work to switch it up a little bit coming into the second round here from Ruffin.
Chris Ruffin stated that his go-to move is a cartwheel kick into a rolling thunder. Had to imagine that was more of a joke than anything else.
I sense some satire in that.
Would be crazy if he threw that. That'd be a great combo.
Hey, I mean, if we get in the third and he's down 2, I say go for it.
He did also say that, you know, when he wrestled at 260 pounds in college, right, he's trimmed a lot to come down to welterweight. His first fight in mixed martial arts was also at heavyweight, 260. He said he's pulling a Jared Cannonier.
Yeah, he's doing a great job here of negating Becker's takedowns. I don't love him hanging around on this neck in this position because he's not under the neck. Oh, I might have spoken too soon.
Pat Becker now trying to address the submission, pops the head out. But Chris Ruffin deep in on the inside, throwing some shots at the 40-year-old. Pat Becker.
Beautiful job here using the submission to threaten him, to give him something else to think about, causing him to let go of that leg and enabling a scramble. But we're back in that position with the body lock, and he can't hang around here because he's just eating up the round. you know, I'd like to see him when he does break from those positions, maybe pull back and like start landing those shots that he was having success with at the start of this round. I think he's just allowing that gap to close too quickly with Becker. And I feel like he would have a lot more success in the striking exchanges.
Pat Becker through 2.5 minutes has struggled to ground the Senator Chris Ruffin. What can Becker do to increase that grappling success?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a good job. He started putting the knees up there, giving him something to think about. I think that's all it really is mixing the strikes in to set up the grappling. You know, if your opponent knows that all you're doing is hunting that leg, he only has to worry about that leg. You know, if he broke it, threw some shots, reshot in, I think that would make that takedown a lot easier in this position. But, you know, Ruffin's not doing the best job at breaking here. I need to stop saying that. Beautiful job from Ruffin here with those strikes. I think if he keeps it at striking range, he's piecing apart Becker here. And honestly, Becker is looking tired and he's looking hurt. So I think Ruffin just needs to keep it at that distance.
A lot of labor movement from the Wildland firefighter. Ruffin goes high. Becker diving for the hips.
Ooh,
a lot
nice
of elbows
there. And that also goes back to what I was saying about adding some shots in there from Becker to give Ruffin something to think about. You know, if you're just holding on to those legs, like Ruffin's throwing those elbows with careless abandon because he's not worried about getting hit. So I feel like I'd like to see Becker kind of mixing in some strikes to kind of allow those level changes, mixing up the levels like we saw in the earlier fights, you know, the guys breaking, throwing some body shots, reshoot and engaging. And then from Ruffin, like he did a great job of breaking off, but he kind of like, he gets a little bit ambitious, throws a little bit too heavy, closes that gap and falls in, and that allows Becker to close the distance and get back to this position that he wants. So both guys are kind of helping each other out a little bit.
Pat Becker does finally ground Chris Ruffin. A little too high, though. The Senator rolling over, but Becker maintains control. Just over a minute to go. Herb Dean wanted some more action. Now he's getting it, Corey.
Yeah, beautiful job from Becker there to ride the hips and end up in that mounted position. That's kind of what we saw in the first round. You know, Ruffin rolled, trying to create a scramble, and Becker just rode it and took that mount position. Great job from him. I think this is going to seal the deal for the round here. You know, I'd like to see him throw a bit more offense. We're going into 30 seconds of the last round, so I think if he you know, lands some solid offense here, he's definitely 2 rounds up.
Pat Becker painting the forehead of Chris Ruffin with some of that crimson blood. Those lacerations around the face of Becker are presenting themselves. We'll say the Senator mentioned that the composure in his last fight, or the lack thereof, is why he lost. You can tell he's worked on that at Extreme Couture with those guys.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Ruffin is showing a lot of great skill out here tonight. He's doing a lot of the right things. I just feel like there's a couple holes in the grappling that need closing up that Becker is capitalizing on, but he did a lot better job in the second round in comparison to the first round. Closed a lot of those gaps. Great job here initiating a scramble to work up and not finish this round completely mounted.
Sort of a 50-50 right there at the end.
Yeah, I was about to say up, but he wasn't. But yeah, no, like he did a great job making some adjustments in that round, but I think Becker is two up here.
I would agree with that, but a gritty 10 minutes in the can at welterweight between the Senator Chris Ruffin and Patrick the Kurgan Becker. Feels like Pat Becker, right, when you look at the optics of it, he's labor movements, but he's very effective. Corey McKenna, walk me through these highlights of round number 2.
Yeah, Ruffin's having so much success with the striking. I would just love to see him create a little bit more space. Honestly, he landed some shots where I feel like Becker almost looked like he doubted himself for a second, and I think Ruffin needs a finish in this round. So I think if I were his coach, I think I'd like to see him with a little bit more distance, setting him up those strikes with the jabs, keeping it at jabbing range, landing some power shots, and I think he can capitalize on the fatigue of Becker going in here tonight. For Becker, he just needs to do the same thing, and he's going to seal a decision. If he gets him down, I think he should be a little bit more offensive and maybe look to get the stoppage, but I think Becker's 2 up right now, so less urgency on his side, but more fatigue, which maybe Ruffin can capitalize going on into his third.
Herb Dean gets us going for a third and final round. Pat Becker, blistering pace across the octagon, deep in on the hips here. Chris Ruffin tries, but he's brought down to the feet, Corey.
Yeah, I really don't like people jumping on the neck on a double leg, mainly because I love it when people do it to me. You know, that bomb flues there, it makes the takedown easier. Like, I don't love it. But both guys, beautiful scrambles here from both guys. You know, you can tell they're nice and sweaty, they're slippery, they're both just slipping out and scrambling. You know, and that might help Ruffin a little bit in this position here with Becker's control. But, you know, we're like, like as I mentioned, you know, Becker's just going to go out there and do exactly what he was doing in the first 2 rounds, because that's a clear path to victory for him. I think we need to see some more urgency on Ruffin's side to break and to start landing these strikes.
Definitely a wet and wild start to round number 3. Chris Ruffin's lone pro victory was a 2nd round TKO. He has that fight-ending power, but like you mentioned, you need to work yourself into positions in order to use it. 3:55 to go, and Pat Becker is just simply in the driver's seat right now. Throwing the leg over, Chris Ruffin now trying to reach, slipping right out the back door. Can he find it? No, Pat Becker remains firmly in control. Gotta respect the 40-year-old's ability to find these offensive positions and stick on them this late into the fight.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Becker's ability to ride this top position. I mean, as he slips off, but he's doing a great job here of kind of like riding with Ruffin's scrambles and ending up on top, or at least not ending up in the worst position. I'm very impressed with, like you say, that the way he's doing that. You know, he's switching from the mount to the back, so he just had like S mount, high mount. He's done a very good job of like riding that top position, which often we don't see in the big guys. It tends to be very like strong positional like holds and like big explosive movements, but Becker's doing a great job of kind of like riding the motion here.
Chris Ruffin needs to get some offense going and enact a game plan. Midway through round number 3, the finish is needed for the Senator. Pat Becker doing a great job at just smothering and neutralizing any path to victory for Chris Ruffin.
Ruffin's doing a good job hand fighting here. He's doing all the right things to survive, but like you say, we're halfway through this round and we're down 2.5 rounds if we're Ruffin's side, you know. So he's got to be hipping back to that cage, trying to get up with some urgency here, because Becker's just going to look to control this fight, land some strikes, and I think we're going to go to the judges' scorecards, and it's going to be a pretty clear win on his part.
You know, we talked about that motivation of having Pat Becker's kids in the building, watching him fight for the very first time. That's a father who is not going to lose when he's got his kids nearby.
Yeah, exactly. And we're looking at a very dominant display here, and a lot of heart from both guys. You know, I don't heart only speaks for part of it, and I've mentioned it a couple times, but you know, you can't teach that. Like, a lot of people would break in these positions, and Ruffin's still fighting. But I just feel like Becker's doing such a good job of controlling this fight. And as I mentioned before, like, I know a lot of people say it's not the most exciting, but honestly, I love to see stuff like this, because unless you've done it, you don't know how hard it is to control another human being that is fighting with all their willpower in there. You know, it's a very hard thing to do, and it does take a lot of skill. He's doing a great job here tonight.
A grueling and taxing pace. 90 seconds remain in round number 3. Chris Curtis and Jordan Levitt trying to urge their fighter on in the corner, but Chris Ruffin has just been snuffed out thus far in round 3.
Yeah, like I said, I'm very impressed with him here tonight. I think, I mean, Ruffin just doesn't seem to have an answer for these positions. You know, maybe being a collegiate wrestler, maybe there was a little bit of complacency. You know, maybe, like, say, focusing on the holes he had, he negated some others, or maybe Becker just... Oh, great job. Okay, we have a minute for Ruffin to get this fight.
Can the Senator Chris Ruffin muster up a miracle? Pat Becker charging across the octagon, trying to tie up the bigger man, deep in on the hips. 40 seconds to go, and Chris Ruffin, in all likelihood, is about to be brought back down to the canvas, Corey.
Yeah, I think so. Ruffin's just a little bit too aggressive with his strikes. Like I say, he's not forcing Becker to keep at that distance. He's allowing Becker to close that gap by loading up on his strike so much, by falling forwards and closing that gap. And, you know, Becker's just ragging into the floor here. You know, and I think that just shows the determination of him in here tonight.
Certainly a hole that Chris Ruffin will have to address moving forward with the grappling. Pat Becker just all over him as we approach the final stretch. Now some elbows from the Wildland firefighter, getting it done on the scorecards with the kids in the building. In all likelihood, Pat the Kurgan Becker, 40 years young, and what a performance. That was a gas tank for ages, Corey.
Yeah, exactly. You know, a very dominant display. You mentioned he didn't really have much of a camp, but, you know, that didn't seem to affect him going in there tonight. You know, and I don't think they could have asked for a more dominant performance there, and I think he's going to go home very happy with this win tonight.
Sometimes they say chopping down trees is the best base for mixed martial arts, potentially.
Yeah, exactly. And like you say, he's physically active. You know, and Urijah likes to talk about age a lot, but that didn't seem to affect him in here tonight. And yeah, I'm very impressed with him and his team.
Pat Becker, again, in all likelihood, now 2-0 here at Urijah Faber's A1 Combat. Can't wait to see him perform. You really don't find guys later in their competitive careers having success. 40 years young, looking like an absolute tank on top of the cage. Riverside, California, representative in the best way possible. Some highlights from the third and final round. It was mat return after mat return for Pat Becker. Chris Ruffin found some success on the feet, but the pace, pressure, and perpetual movement of Pat Becker ultimately led to the demise of the Senators' game plan. Just not a lot of areas of offensive improvement for him as this fight progressed.
Yeah, I think I'm actually about to step in there and interview Becker for you guys. But yeah, phenomenal performance here from him tonight. Very impressive display of grappling, very strong wrestling, you know, and I think he could be very happy with his performance here tonight.
We send it inside to Garrett Fertig to find out the winner in our featured prelim.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action-packed action in our featured prelim here at A1 Combat 14, we go to your 3 judges at cage side for the decision. All 3 judges, Chris Crail, Mark Davidson, and Jonathan Romero, all see it the same, 29-28 for your winner by unanimous decision, Patrick the Kurgan Becker.
Pat Becker gets it done on the scorecards. What a dominant performance over Extreme Couture's Chris Ruffin. We're going to send it inside to Corey McKenna for a post-fight interview.
I'm here with your winner, Patrick Becker. Patrick, amazing performance. You know, I think you must be very happy with that here tonight. I know you said coming in here that you were a little bit worried because you've been out fighting fires. How do you feel like that affects you coming in here tonight?
I don't really know how it affected me. I had a fucking tough fight with a tough opponent. That guy fucking hits hard. And he's game, he can't fight. Yeah, I've been out fighting fires for the past 2 weeks. Not been in the gym, but I had to step in here anyways. It's my first fight my kids ever came to. Hey boys, take a look at your daddy. Take a look at your daddy now.
Yeah, well, I was about to mention that. I'm sure they're extremely proud of you here tonight. That was a phenomenal performance. Was that your game plan coming in here tonight? Very strong wrestling.
I don't know. I didn't know how he was gonna come out and fight me. You know, he was tougher than I thought. I can fight everywhere, you know. Of course, I'm more of a grappler at heart, you know. I just come from a really good camp, Millennium MMA. Getting a little bit older. I don't know how many more of these I've left in. Starting my new career as a firefighter. This is one of the toughest jobs in the world. That's one of the toughest jobs in the world. I don't know how long I'll be able to do both of them, but I was able to step in here one more time for my kids and for my family, all you guys. I love you guys.
Yeah, well, that was, like I say, a very dominant display here tonight. I'm sure they're very proud of you. You must be very proud of that performance. Is there anyone else you'd like to thank here tonight?
Just all my teammates at Millennium MMA, my coaches, Vince, Guzman, my girlfriend, Jackie Cataline, my wrestling coach, one of the best wrestlers in the world, taught me everything I know, and my head coach, Romy Aram, who's not here tonight, but those 3 people and my training partners, I owe everything to them.
Congratulations, that was an amazing performance.
What a win for Patrick the Kurgan Becker, 40 years young. Making the family proud, Riverside, California, and everybody here at the Commerce Casino in our featured prelim.